This is a critical moment for the markets and we need to talk about it. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. And did you ever consider the idea that money can sometimes be called dough because we all need it? All right, guys, I spent a lot of time thinking about this and what exactly it looks like for the markets coming up for this week. And tomorrow is that day that there are a lot of decisions being made. And I think that I'm really onto something. And I want to share that with you. And I will also tell you about Moo and your free stocks. And I will also tell you about my Patreon where you can see my buys and sells and about the options course that I'm building over there. For right now, I do, as usual, want to get right into the chart. So let me bring up Moo and we'll start talking about it. So the very first chart that I have for you is, boom, right here. We have SPY in front of you tracking the S&P 500. And this, we set a new lower low. So what that looks like right now is that being that we have lower highs and now a lower low is that we are on the way down for this. And so what exactly does that mean? Well, I think that it's a game of retests and rejection. And so we absolutely want to be careful in watching for that. So what I have for the SPY, I think that it is possible that we do bounce. If we do bounce from here, which right now is at $430 on SPY, that it is possible that we retest 434 to 438. And either one of those two, if it sends us back down from those levels, from 434 or 438, that we do break this support that we have here, and that we continue that downward trend from there. Now, should we rally past that for some reason, because we are below the 50-day, but it is possible that we actually go back and retest that 50-day, where exactly is that critical, that ultimate rejection price that we have for this if we're going to continue in a downward direction for this? So that price is 442. That is the ultimate rejection that we want to be watching for. If we don't break that, if we continue downward from there, then it is highly likely that we start putting in new lows. So the ways that I look at this right now, it's still looking like we're in that bearish trend. Even if we go down and we look at what we have in the RSI, right now we are near those oversold conditions, and you can see what happened last time. Although this time isn't quite like last time, because that last time we did not have a lower low following lower highs as well. This time we have lower low, we have lower highs, and I'll tell you what, like this week, I can't tell you enough, like tomorrow is one of the biggest days this year in the market. I think second only to what we had back in January, where we really set off that rally. So let's go back to January and look and see just how big of a moment that was. January, there we go. It looks like January the 6th is the day that set it all off. So there's January 6th, and you can see the rip that followed from there. I think that this is that next big day. Even though it's not setting off the downward trajectory that we have here, I think it'll be the first time that really shows us the difference, the change that we see in the market. So it is possible that we bounce. It is possible that we see even the momentum come back up. If it crosses over 50, it's possible that we cancel this and we continue back upward for a while. If we get rejected at 442 and we also see the momentum indicator down here, the RSI, also stay below 50 or cross over 50, then back down over 50, down towards 30 again, then that's something that I think sends us on that lower path. So it is possible for the S&P that we do rally initially and then fall down through that if we get rejected at 434, 438, or ultimately if we get there, 442. Most critically, staying beneath that 50-day will show us what direction we're going. So for this one, it is possible that if we break down through that we see 426 show up and then 422 from there, and then ultimate support. And actually I have two different numbers. I know I said ultimate, but the two of them, 413 is a number that you want to keep in mind. Write it down if you need to. And after 413, that's down to 400. And I think 400 would be the absolute bottom of where we would see this thing going before we would start rallying back up again. So we'll see what conditions give for us if news turns for the worst. And it's hard enough to project out the next day, let alone the next week, let alone like months out in advance of that. But it is something that I'm watching and forming my ideas and my positions around, and I wanted to bring it to your attention. So let's go over to the Qs now. There we go. And for the Qs, now we're not necessarily in the same position here in the Qs because we had a lower low here than we did recently. We haven't quite hit that yet. That critical number that I've talked about before, I actually called it a magic number, was 354. If we give up 354 on this one, then that we possibly see those lower lows happening there as well. Now, mind you, I think the S&P could be front running the Nasdaq a little bit, so we'll have to watch that. The S&P could be our bellwether, our canary in the coal mine for what exactly is going to take place. So for the game of retests for QQQ, retesting 360 or retesting 364 and failing to break either one of those two could send us back down through this support level that we have right about 358. And then from there, we go down to about 354, and then after that is about 346. Now, the ultimate rejection level is 372, which is up here, and it's just past what we have for the 50-day. The 50-day is at 371, and that would be quite a point of confluence to watch it go up and test the 50-day and also test that ultimate rejection level. And should we get rejected there, to me, that is very confirmatory of our future trajectory for this. We are down below the 50-day, so that's already one bearish sign starting to flatten out on us. As a matter of fact, it's starting to curl down on us, and that is most definitely something we want to pay attention to and be watching this happen. Even if we go out to the weekly charts, by the way, the weekly chart for this, when we look at the RSI, we are darn close to 50. And as a matter of fact, if I put up the standard RSI 14 that a lot of people use, for the RSI 14, we're at 53. So either one of those, when we get down to it, I think it is possible that we see that come up. We already have that path forming up for us. It is possible that we carry that momentum into the week, but it's also possible that we go sideways, and it's also possible that we bounce back up. So if support should hold for here and we break through those resistance levels, we don't get rejected, that instead we move onward up from there, then the thing that we're looking for, should we go up instead of down on this, would be putting in a new higher high and keeping those higher lows all the while around there. It's certainly not putting in a new lower low. So we most definitely want to be watching for that lower low as one of those triggers out there that tells us even more about the direction of the markets. So ultimate rejection levels 372. I think we also have retests at 360 and 364 that if we fail to break either one of those two, that we could break support and head back down, and we could either tie this low or break down to even lower lows. And tying that low, breaking down below it, I think that breakdown would most definitely, again, just like with the SPY, signal what's going to happen next. Ultimate support levels, I have two of them written down for this as well. One of them is at $330 on QQQ, and that's something that we want to watch out for, because that'd be a rather ugly sell-off that we have there. And then ultimate support coming in at about the 310 level. So that would be the very final ultimate number that I would put out there, and it's right there on the charts. And so that would be a very ugly sell-off, which is significantly different than what I had should we sell off down to the 330 level. The 330 level would coincide better with the 200-day, and then that ultimate sell-off level going down to about 310 would make more sense with what we have on the candlesticks here for where we start to see really, really firm support come up, and then from there we could bounce off that. If you guys want to trade like I do, you can check out the Moomoo link down in the description and get up to 16 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000 a piece. Here are the deposit levels. Here's the free stocks. And notice that this $5,000 deposit level also has a free share of Tesla or Google that goes along with it. If you want to see what I am buying and selling, that's available through the Patreon. That link is also down in the description. And part of that Patreon is my options course, where you can learn how to amplify your portfolio through the power of options. And I'll tell you that these past couple weeks, we've been using them over in the Discord, which is available also through that Patreon, and the community has been going absolutely nuts with those options trades that we'd have over there. We're absolutely love to have you. So guys, let me summarize this video. The SPY, the Qs, the technicals are showing to me that from here we are on a downward trajectory for the next little while until we get signs that we're moving back up from here. That doesn't mean that we're not going to bounce. And what we do want to look for, and I want to remind you, are those rejection levels, retesting resistance and getting rejected and heading back down towards support levels. Possibly even that could be a sign that we break down through those support levels. Be on the lookout for those. Go back and watch this video again, see what those levels are, write them down if you haven't, and just keep an eye on that momentum as well, and I promise that it will serve you well. Thank you guys for watching this video. Come and join me over at the Patreon, and also talk to me and my other community members over at the Discord. Kind people, passionate about finance, and we'd love to have you over there. Don't forget about your free stocks from Moomoo. Either that offer does expire coming up here soon in October. So guys, thank you for watching. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning, and we'll see you in the next video.